We sift through the noise, pull out the key info, and basically give you this shortcut to knowing what's really going on. And today, we're diving into something truly strange, a genuine mystery that, well, kind of rocked the world of space observation. It challenges what we thought we knew about old satellites, dead ones even. Okay, picture this. It's May 23rd, 2025. All around the world, deep space radio telescopes suddenly light up. They're picking up this signal. An impossible one. It was this really powerful burst of energy, super short, incredibly sharp, precise even. At first, they thought maybe a fast radio burst, those things from distant galaxies. But this signal, no, it came from right here, Earth's orbit. And get this, it came from a satellite that supposedly hadn't worked since, 1967, NASA's Relay 2, launched way back in '64, Cold War era stuff, officially shut down decades ago. Everyone just thought it was another piece of orbiting junk until that day.
Yeah, and what's really astonishing here isn't just that it sent a signal, it's that this event is such a profound anomaly. It really defies our basic understanding of how space hardware works, especially tech that's been dormant for so long. I mean, imagine finding an old radio in your attic, silent for 50+ years, and suddenly it just bursts into life. It forces you to ask, what on earth could trigger something like that after all this time? And the way the signal came through, it didn't feel like a random glitch. It felt, well, much more intentional.
Right. Was it just some weird electrical fault or something else entirely? And to really feel the shock of this, you have to look back at Relay 2's history, its actual past, because that just makes this whole thing even more baffling. Relay 2, back in the day, wasn't just some random satellite. It was part of this big Cold War experiment pushing the boundaries of global telecommunications. And the interesting part, apparently, it had these backup systems that were, well, incredibly advanced for the 1960s. Way ahead of their time.
That's a key point. Why put such advanced, almost over-engineered backups into something?
Especially when its operational life was so short.
Exactly. Just 3 years active, then it got outdated, technology moved on, and it was silenced, just left drifting up there. For decades, not a peep was ever recorded from it. So the million-dollar question is, how, in 2025, does it suddenly blast out a signal so powerful that telescopes mistake it for something coming from another galaxy? That points to something pretty significant happening on board, not just, a wire shorting out. A deliberate activation, maybe?
And the signal itself. Wow. Just 4 milliseconds long, tiny burst. But the researchers, the folks at Caltech and JPL, they didn't just hear noise, they found a pattern, a really distinct rhythmic signature. What exactly was that?
Well, they looked at the waveform, the actual shape of the radio waves, and they found this repeating structure. It was 3 short pulses, then a pause, then 1 long tone. Think of it like a specific doorbell chime or maybe a Morse code signature, something instantly recognizable.
Okay, 3 pulses, pause, long tone.
Right. And here's the really eerie part. That exact format. It matches test signals they used back in the early 60s for analog equipment. It was the kind of pattern engineers would use to check if a system was responding way before everything went digital. So the implication is huge. This wasn't just random static. It was like a message formatted in a 60-year-old protocol coming from a satellite that should be totally dead. It strongly suggests, a system rebooting itself, following some old embedded instructions after decades of silence.
Okay, so you have this ghost satellite sending vintage test patterns, powerful enough to be seen globally. Now, what does NASA say?
Nothing.
Nothing. Complete silence.
Total radio silence, officially, which is pretty conspicuous, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, extremely.
And it gets weirder. Internal logs from the ground tracking stations, specifically Canberra in Australia and Madrid in Spain, they showed a 17-minute communication blackout right after Relay 2 sent its burst.
17 minutes. Both stations.
Both stations went dark simultaneously. And then astronomers who tried to pinpoint the signal's exact origin found their access to the satellite telemetry data suddenly cut off.
Telemetry?
Yeah.
That's the data stream showing where it is, its status, right?
Precisely. Position, orientation, system health, access denied. Abruptly.
So they're trying to investigate this impossible signal, and someone just shuts the door, pulls the plug on the data feed.
Looks that way. Which really begs the question, why all the secrecy? Why try to hide something related to an event that, according to the official narrative, never even occurred?
And then there was that post, that anonymous employee message that popped up online and vanished just as quickly.
Yes. That sent ripples, didn't it?
It said, not a malfunction, not debris. It heard something. That last bit, it heard something. Chilling.
It really is. And it feeds directly into those old persistent rumors about Relay 2, doesn't it? The ones from the 60s.
That is carrying more than just telecom gear.
Exactly. Whispers about advanced surveillance equipment, maybe something even more classified. We don't know for sure. Of course, it's Cold War history. But it makes you wonder, could Relay 2 have been more than just a relay? Maybe a test bed for autonomous systems, a satellite designed to wake itself up under certain conditions.
Triggered by what, though? A command sent from Earth, maybe trying to see if these old systems still worked.
Hmm.
Or the other possibility implied by that post.
Something inbound, something from out there.
That's the unsettling thought.
And Relay 2 isn't unique in being old and forgotten up there. There are literally thousands of dead satellites, rocket stages, just debris orbiting Earth.
Right, a lot of space junk.
Most of it is junk.
Yeah.
But this event, it's making researchers look again at old data. Years of unexplained radio signals that were previously dismissed. It's like finding a Rosetta Stone for weird space signals we didn't understand before. Maybe Relay 2 is the key.
That reminds me, wasn't there something back in '99? An amateur radio astronomer picked up a weird transmission near an old Soviet satellite platform.
Yes. That's a perfect example. It was reported, but ultimately written off as interference or equipment malfunction. Easy to dismiss at the time.
But now, seeing Relay 2 suddenly come alive,
Yeah.
it makes you reconsider things like that, doesn't it?
Absolutely. What else have we missed? What other ghosts might be lurking in orbit? Maybe not entirely dead, potentially listening or even waiting.
So where does that leave us? What are the main ideas trying to explain this?
Well, broadly, 3 main theories have surfaced. 1, a simple plasma impact, like a micrometeorite hits it just right, causes a big energy discharge, and somehow kickstarts a system. Plausible, maybe, but the specific pattern is hard to explain that way.
Okay, random physical event. What else?
Theory 2, a covert experiment. Someone, some agency or group, intentionally sent a signal to remotely activate this dormant satellite, maybe testing capabilities, maybe something else.
So deliberate human action from Earth. And the third?
The third, and perhaps the most provocative, links back to that anonymous post. An external stimulus, meaning a signal not from Earth, maybe from deep space, triggered Relay 2's response protocol, as if it was designed to listen for something specific.
It heard something.
Precisely.
But layered on top of all these theories is this fact that's undeniably troubling. The data is disappearing. Reports suggest information about the event is being actively scrubbed, removed from logs, access restricted.
Yes. And that is very telling. It feels less like managing a technical glitch and more like information control, almost like a cover-up, though that's a strong word.
It does feel like that, though, doesn't it? Like something out of a movie. Why actively silence discussion or erase data about an old satellite?
Unless it has more to say, or unless what it did say is something someone really doesn't want getting out. It elevates this from just a space anomaly to something potentially much more significant. Someone is trying to control the narrative.
So where are we now? Has Relay 2 sent anything else? As far as we know, no. It went silent again almost immediately after that initial burst and whatever followed during the blackout. No more signals have been publicly confirmed, and certainly no official answers from NASA or anyone else. But there was one final detail reported, wasn't there? A supposed last transmission received just before it went completely quiet again.
That's the report, yes. Unconfirmed, like the anonymous post, but widely circulated in certain communities. The message was apparently simple, automated text. System restored, awaiting input.
Awaiting input. Wow. That leaves you hanging, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. So you, the listener, are left with this choice, really. Was this whole Relay 2 incident just a bizarre echo from the Cold War past? A technical ghost in the machine that we'll likely never fully understand? Or was it something more? A warning, maybe? A sign that dormant technology, perhaps even technology we've forgotten we have, could have hidden capabilities? Could it be a prelude to something else?
Awaiting input. From who or what?
That's the question that lingers. One thing seems clear from this whole episode. Sometimes the dead.
Yeah.
Well, they don't always stay quiet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely something to think about it. Keep looking up, stay curious. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.